Go ahead.
Yes. Welcome to Learn New Testament Greek session, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, something like that. We are in our review class period. It's the class before exam number 1. Yay! Actually, review periods are, I like them. We're going to get to reinforce some things. What I am going to do is I looked at the exam and I'm basically going to tell you what's on it. Now, that wouldn't actually happen if you were taking this class in a college, but you're taking this class in a garage. So things are a little different. They have slightly adjusted rules. We do here. So, it's not going to, this isn't really like a study guide. Like, for instance, okay, one part of the exam is vocabulary. There will be 50 vocabulary items. You see the Greek word, you write down one of the English definitions. I'm not going to tell you which 50 are going to be on it, because I think you've learned like, 100 or 120 so far, chapters 1 through 9. Well, vocab starts in chapter 4 maybe, or 3, but whatever. Those chapters, memorize all of them, and the 50 that are selected from therefrom, you will get them all right. And it will be beautiful. And it will be really quick for me to correct, because they won't be wrong, right? Think about that. So, you will have 50 vocabulary items. That will not be the first thing, though. The first thing, you're going to be asked to produce the paradigm for the definite article. Ha, hey, ta, to, te, to. Right? Oh, just kidding. Two takes two. To, te, to. That was a joke, that first part. See if you... It sounds like potato, doesn't it? I had a baked potato yesterday, and it was good. Last week I had a big sweet potato. That was pretty good too. So we're gonna. What's that, Steve? I'm making.
Oh, I'm just thinking.
Have you had dinner yet?
I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna stop with the food talk. I'm sorry, Steve. So you will produce that bad boy. You will do your vocab. There will be some matching questions, which actually I think at this point, if you all got it right now, you would get all of them right, I think. It will have the cases, and then it will have their functions, but in messed up order, and then you draw a line to the right one. So like nominative, how does that function in a sentence? Genitive, how does that function in a sentence? And then you identify that. You're going to do that, you're going to do vocab. Then I think you have translation sentences. You have, might be like 10. Basically just like the workbook. You get a sentence, what you do not know is supplied for you. You supply the rest and you make a sentence. Remember, when you're translating, English word order. English word order. Okay? And the last thing is a paragraph that you will translate, which is from, I am very confident that it is a work of John. It's probably 1 John, but it might be the Gospel of John. I'm not going to tell you what paragraph it is, because, if you just memorized it in English and then just wrote that down, we want you to translate. So same thing there. That which you do not know will be supplied for you, and you will do the rest. And I think, if you've been studying and you're able to translate the stuff that you're supposed to in the paragraph, I think you're really going to enjoy it. Because it's cool, getting these little snippets in the workbook from the Bible. That's nice, it is. I think it's pretty exciting. But then once you get a big chunk, right? Big paragraph of the Bible and you're translating it, and you're like, ooh, I know this. This is 1 John 3 or something, it's exciting. So, be excited for your exam. Be excited. Yes, yeah, our cameraman is pumping his fists. He is smiling. This is good. So, what was that, Steve?
He's young.
He's young, yes.
I get up and they're goofing around at 6 in the morning. I still don't get that. John and Andrew, that's like 6 o'clock in the morning, they're playing around like.
So basically what I want to do for review, I'll do a little more than what I just said will be on the test, but I want to make sure that we do review the things that are going to be on there. So the first thing we're going to do here is the definite article, a little review. And we're going to rock out too. Dun, 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 dun.
That is a good song.
If you're watching at home, hopefully you can hear the tunes. We're they're downstairs.
Music, oh yeah.
As I said, we are in a garage. All right, what am I doing here? Let's go. Let's go. All right. I don't know if you noticed the other day, but it like fell apart. I was trying to like fix it as I was answering questions. It was hard. Anyway, so the definite article. What is the definite article? Tell me what that is in English. The word the. Yes. In Greek, what is the like lexical form? If you looked it up in your lexicon in the back of your book. Ha. Now, do me a favor. That's the masculine, singular, nominative singular. Give me the feminine and the neuter as well, please.
Hey.
Yes. Ha, hey, ta. Now, what is the indefinite article in Greek? What's a lexical form?
There is none.
Correct. There is no indefinite article in Greek. I tried to trick you. I said it all serious and stuff. That's right. There isn't one. Interesting. We will get used to it, though. We will adapt. So let's do this paradigm. Normally with a paradigm like logos, graphe, and ergon, we would go down vertically. Or, up and down wise. So with and when you recite it, when you're thinking of it, and just reciting it for practice, that's the way that you want to do it, because they're 3 different words. But with ha, he, ta, how many words is that actually? It's actually all one word, right? It can just show up in all 3 genders because it matches up with a noun most of the time, or with an adjective or whatever. So it needs to be able to appear in all 3 genders. For that reason, when we write this out, we're going to go across because it's all the same word. Does that make sense? And that's how we'll chant it and recite it mindlessly. So, what's nominative singular masculine? Ha. And what's the next one? Hey. Oh yeah. And ta. I'm realizing that I should have wiped this off better on Saturday. Okay. Ha, hey, ta. Next, genitive singulars. 2.
Taste.
Yes, put that s on the end. Taste.
Tone.
2.
Oh, that's a U.
Remember, this one's also second declension. It's almost always identical to this one, except for the what? Nominative and the accusative are identical because it's neuter. So we have ha, hey, ta, 2, taste, 2, and
Toe.
toe. Is that all right?
No.
Subscript. Yoda.
There is a circumflex, but that's not necessary. We're not going to make that necessary for spelling. Only that which affects the meaning. Yoda subscript. Yay. And?
Hey. With a Yoda subscript.
Yay.
Toe.
Toe.
Yoda.
Toe, te, toe. Toe, te, toe. And accusative singular.
Ten.
Ton.
Ten.
Ton. Ton wins. Ton. And, yep, okay, someone said that already. Yay, Tang!
Ta.
Ta. Why is this ta? Why is it not tan? It's second declension.
Because it's neuter.
It's the same as the nominative.
Yes, because it's neuter. And the nominative and the accusative, they're identical all the time. They are twinning, as we said several classes ago. They are twinning, yes. That is wonderful. I made this little squiggly, which means we're jumping down to what? Our plurals. Come on, you gotta have plural nouns too. You can't just have singular nouns. What should we do here?
Hoi.
Hoi.
Hoi, with a ha. Yep, okay. I just want to make sure I heard that. Hoi and.
I.
Okay, that was awkward. Was that you, Jimmy? You ever see, you ever on YouTube and you watch like stupid videos that include animals? There's one called Oh Hi with Dinky the cat. And it goes, oh hi. It's this black cat. You should check it out. It's really a good use of your time. Hoi, hi. How do I spell this?
Tau.
Yes. Alpha. And genitive plural.
Tone.
Tone. What should the feminine form be?
Tone.
Tone. This is interesting. And neuter.
Tone.
Yay. All right. Don't forget that. You got that own ending. Almost always an own will be genitive plural. Once we learn participles, we'll learn that it can be something else as well. But when you see a own on that ending, you think genitive plural first, you'll probably be all right. Now let's go into what's our next case?
Dative plural.
Dative and plural. Yes. What's the masculine form?
Toys.
Toys. Yay. Toys. And the next one.
Taste.
Well, how do you pronounce that?
Tice.
Ties. Ties. Kind of like hi, right? But we got a toe and that stuff. Ties. And next. Toys, right? Just like the masculine, because they're second declension. Let's finish this bad boy out. Accusative plural. Tus. And.
Tas.
Tas. And. Ta. Hey, that's nice. Yay. They all mean what?
The.
They all mean the same thing. Hey, you thought you liked the in English. Check it out. The in Greek. Okay, so what case was this row? This row?
Nominative.
Okay, the case is nominative, but you're right, it's also singular. But I'll just leave that on. And what was the next column? Genitive. And what was the correct? Yes, and what? Accusative, and then these are the same, but they're plurals. So let me ask you, a nominative, how does it function in a sentence?
Subject.
It's the subject. So you're looking at a sentence, you are seeing that verb, because of course you look there first, and then next you look for the nominative case, because most verbs have a subject, almost all of them do. And this next case is the genitive. How does that function in a sentence? Yeah.
Possession.
We're gonna, for now, and for your test, it's possession. Just know that basically, that's what you'll say. That's how you categorize it. Is the possessive case or something like that. But know that for practical purposes, you're sticking an of in front of that word when you translate it. Because, as you'll see as time goes on, of does a lot more than just possession. You know, this is a table made of plastic. you know. So plastic owns this table? Well, no. That's called a genitive of content. It's what it's made up of. You know, 10 of them came swimming with me. So them owns the 10? Well, no, that's called a partitive genitive. It's a part of a bigger whole. So all those categorical terms don't matter at this point, but just know that the word of does a lot more than possession, just for practical purposes. So if you always think genitive, I stick a of in there, most of the time you're going to be okay. Also because the way that the genitive gets used in Greek, in all those other instances like the ones I just described, they pretty much match up with what we do in English with the word of. So if I said, here's a table made of plastic, would you be all weirded out like, whoa, what does that mean? The plastic like owns the table? No, you understand intuitively what it means. And that's because we use that the same sort of way. So genitive is the possessive case for now. Stick a of in there. Dative, what does that indicate for us? Indirect object. Indirect object. So, when you're translating, what do you need to supply? Anything when you translate it? A preposition. Now, what preposition is off limits for the dative? Of. Don't use of. Of is with the genitive, okay? The genitive and of, they're going out. Alright? They're courting. They're heading for marriage. No, of is off limits. Alright? The dative, not any old prep, but, you know, in, to, with, by, that sort of stuff. Stick one of those in there for parsing, and I will mark it correct. Last one is the accusative. Accusative indicates what?
Direct object.
The direct object. What is a direct object? Patrick, what is a direct object?
It's not the subject.
This is true.
It's a thing that receives the verb, like directly.
Yes, you got it. So the verb, the subject does the action of the verb. The direct object receives the action of the verb. And the indirect object is indirectly affected by the action of the verb. So in the accusative case, when you're translating it into Greek, what preposition or prepositions do you supply?
None.
Any.
Nothing. Nothing at all. Yes. So I just, every once in a while, word question trickily. So, good job. Hey. How many of you have paper on you? Pretty much everybody. And then you might even have spares for those who don't. How many of you have a writing utensil? Okay, let's do this. Get out a blank piece of paper and a writing utensil, and if you have to, bum one off your neighbor, and just shut anything that's Greeky.
Does that include my brain?
Shut the brain, yes, however that works. Go ahead.
I will erase this. Thank you.
Does anybody need a pen?
Yeah, who's like, yeah.
That kind of goes on that option.
Flashbacks from sanding the sheetrock compound. Yay.
Oh, how I hate that job.
Okay, so go ahead and make 3 columns labeled ha, hey, and ta. And what I want you to do is write out that paradigm from memory as best you can. Once you've written, like completed it or written as much as you can remember, just like put your pencil down, and once everyone's done, I'll have you guys continue. For all those viewers at home, you can participate as well. Maybe press pause, take a break, get a snack, whatever you want. And once you either complete it or get to a place where you're like, okay, I can't remember any more of this, go ahead, open up your book to that page and make the corrections on your piece of paper. But you don't, if you're still going, just keep going. But the people who have done what they can or have finished, go ahead and check your work. So I think you all are making your corrections now, but if not, definitely begin to, correct your work. And it's on page 46. So childish. Did anyone, you don't have to tell, no one has, I'm not asking everyone to tell me how they did, but I'm just wondering, did anyone get it correct the first shot? Okay. Beautiful. So, do this. Take your paper, either spin it upside down or flip it over. And we're going to do it one more time. For those of you who got it perfect, do the article and then do Logos Graphe Ergon as well. And make sure all of your, don't like look at your books while you're doing it from memory. So close those bad boys up. I'll be right back. I'm going to bring us liquid. Once you're at a place when you're done, or It's all you can remember. Go ahead and check your work and try to note the difference between the first one that you did and the second one. Okay, so that exercise is done. I'm very sorry, I know you were enjoying it, I could tell. Question. Did you did you guys find that your second attempt was better than your first attempt? Possibly significantly? It is possible. The reason why I had you guys do that is basically for this reason. Clearly I've already described that, doing that, writing down paradigms, checking your work, flipping the page over, doing it again until you get it perfect. But what I find is a lot of people just don't actually do that. So I had my my Greek class this past semester. We had a certain class where we did a bunch of that because I want you to, well, first of all, what you just did benefited your ability to, produce that paradigm, absolutely. But also, then you experience the fact that, how long were you guys doing this for, like 15 minutes, something like that? And you possibly significantly improved. So that does work, that method does work. So employ it, do it. Because once you get all the paradigms that you need to know for the moment down, that first session takes a while. And then what you do is you have 1 or 2 times per week that you schedule where you sit down, you do your old paradigms to keep your memory, basically to maintain your memory on those ones, and then you add whatever new one has popped up. And if you keep that cycle going, you're going to be really good with those paradigms. What's nice is, remember, if you can produce a paradigm from memory, how much more will you be able to recognize it on the page? Because you're not actually, your goal here is not to be able to write out, 50 paradigms. That's not your goal. Your goal is to be able to recognize the form when you see it in a sentence in the New Testament. But if you are able to produce these paradigms, you are that much more going to be able to recognize, because it's so much easier to just pick out one form in context. Especially when you see here's a verb, I already know what the nominative is. This is most likely an accusative. So the context helps you so much when you're translating. So if you can just bust out that raw data, you're just in good shape, Okay. A preposition. What is a preposition? Dan, are you raising your hand?
Yeah.
Because you can answer.
Alright, it has to do with, it gives more information about the sentence.
It does, yes.
Or a noun. Or pronoun.
Yep, you mean about its object?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, it shows the relationship between words and sentence.
And more specifically, if we go with the Mounce definition that our textbook has, it's a word that shows the relationship between 2 words. Lots of times it's spatial, lots of times it's temporal. That is, lots of times it has to do with location, with place. This cup is on the table. On the table. On is a preposition. On the table, prepositional phrase. It is spatial. It's telling you the relationship between the cup and the table as regards location. Very exciting stuff. There's also the temporal ones, like we talked about. I went to the fridge during halftime. During halftime. That's a preposition of time, during. You have things like after, that can be a time preposition. So, we're familiar with them, we love them.
During the interception.
The interception at the end of the Super Bowl. You could say something like, I screamed like a dying banshee after the interception at the end of the Super Bowl. And you probably did. Or if you were Richard Sherman, I don't know if you saw the replay of his reaction. He's like, it was priceless.
Yeah, he went from smiling to all in one.
If you're a Patriots fan,
It's hilarious.
if you're a Seattle fan watching, trying to learn New Testament Greek, I'm sorry, you can't take this class anymore.
You should have ran the ball.
You've been banned.
1 yard away.
Sorry.
You should have ran the ball.
So what's interesting about Greek prepositions? What's different with them? That's very crucial for us to know concerning their definition. Can someone explain that to me? Yes, Chris.
Their meaning changes depending on the case of the object that they're working with.
Yes. So we know that prepositions take objects. Now, an object is usually a noun, right? It can be, definitely can be a pronoun, could be an adjective functioning as a noun, but all of those things have case, right? Just like we, just did that paradigm for the article, all of those things, they take case. So, the object of the preposition will have a particular case. So, depending upon the case of the object, the preposition's meaning may change. Let me ask you guys about some of them. Let's say the preposition en, epsilon nude. How many cases can its object show up in? Wouldn't it be something if they just sung the answer? Like it just happened to be in one of the songs. And takes a deer, only a deer. Something like that. Okay, let me ask one more time. So, what case does N take?
Do we have to sing it?
You could sing it to me. It takes the dative, yes. Does it take any other cases? Think back to the lyrics.
Only a dove.
Only a dative. That's right, only a dative. So, in those cases, it's pretty easy, because you see an N, you don't have to think okay, is this genitive or is this accusative for its object? No, when you see an N, the object is always a dative, no matter what. So you actually don't even need to think about it for that type of preposition. N is like that, ace is like that. Ace only takes the accusative. Pros only takes the accusative. So, well, in the New Testament, let me clarify, in the New Testament, those preps take more outside the New Testament. But we're learning it for the New Testament. So for our purposes, those ones only take one. So, N, what does N translate to?
In.
Yeah, in, on, among, that sort of stuff. But what if its object is in the genitive?
It must be a different
It
word.
will never happen because it only takes the dative.
Yeah, you
Yes.
still telling us that. Another trick.
Yes, I will trick you. I will trick you. For this night, I will trick you. Dia. Dia takes objects in more than one case, or just one, or three, or
Genitive and accusative.
genitive and accusative. So dia can translate how? Into what?
Through or on account of.
Through or on account of. If dia is translated as through, that's because its object is what case? Genitive, right? So if you saw dia, if you saw this, dia tu huiu, how would that translate?
Through the sun.
Through the sun. Dia tu huiu. Now, what if it was dia tan anthropon? On account of the man. Or if it was talking just about man universal, we might even drop the article in our translation, possibly on account of man, but literally on account of the man. But why? Why was it on account of in that situation?
This was accusative.
Because tan anthropon was accusative. Exactly. Yes. How about... No.
What does it say?
Did you do para? Did you learn that one yet? Para?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Para, how many cases for?
3.
3. So, what if I said para te thalassa? That's a toughie. I'll write it too. Wait. I'm having a, is it one line with 2 sigmas? No. Whatever, you still know what word it is. Let me check. Anyone have a guess?
In the presence of heaven? Forget what philosophy means.
No, that's not heaven.
Does anyone know thalassa? Yeah, I spelled it right. Okay. Yeah, you learned it in chapter 8. So. Oh, and actually, this is one of the ones that switches to. Sorry about that. Anyway,
Is that correct?
it's from thalassa. It means sea or lake,
Oh, man, it's not here.
like the Sea of Galilee, that sort of stuff. Para. So, what case is te thalasse?
Dative.
It's dative. So what are your possibilities? By now I bet some of you are looking at the lexical entry for para.
Beside the sea?
Yes, yes. Beside the sea. Mm-hmm. What does it give you? Beside or with? Is with a possibility?
Beside, in
In the presence
the
of
presence of.
In the presence of, yeah. So para, as you can see, has like a bunch of possibilities. But a lot of them are, if it's genitive, it's what?
alongside.
From. Accusative is alongside. So para in the genitive is the idea of like from, and then dative, accusative, it's all kind of like next to, beside, that sort of stuff, mostly. But, you know, all you do is you,
Question
I change that. What does that mean?
from this.
From the sea. Because it's a different case. That dictates the definition of the preposition.
If you have a preposition in front of a genitive, does it override the default of?
Yes, yes it does. Because you might be thinking, and that's a good question, I inevitably get a little bit of that in translation sometimes, is people will translate, okay, para followed by genitive, from, but then we'll still say of the sea, from of the sea. Because with the genitive, it's an of, right? Well, the thing is, exactly, with the preposition, the case only feeds into the preposition's definition. You don't also stick the of in there. Or like when it was dative, beside to the sea, because it was dative, or beside with the sea, no. Drop that extra preposition because it's in a prepositional phrase, special circumstance. Yes.
Plus you said, if it doesn't sound right in English, it's probably wrong.
Oh yeah, exactly. If you had beside to the sea, no, there's something wrong there. All right, last thing before you take your break, we're gonna just practice the different adjective positions. So an adjective does what?
Describe. Generally,
Generally, yes, it modifies a noun. And now we know that we can have adjectives function differently. So can someone give me some of those different categories, what they're called, and examples of them in English? Or at least the examples?
Predicate adjective?
Like the black marker.
Yes.
The marker is black, and use another example last week, which was like
Well, you
just
don't have
good.
you don't have to
Or
give me
go-
the exact example, but just you had the black marker,
Yeah,
and then you said the marker is black. I think I
Yeah.
spaced out for a second. Sorry.
yeah. The marker is black, but you can't do the third one with that. Like you could say,
Yeah, I could, but it's yeah. So you're right on track. You have an attributive adjective, which is the black marker or the green marker, the brown cup, the big man, that sort of stuff. Your adjective is in English right before the noun.
We have the predicate adjective.
Then you have the predicate adjective. Yes, that's when you have your noun and then you have a form of the word to be, and then you have your adjective. So instead of the big man, you have the man is big. And it's called the predicate adjective because in that situation, bigness is being predicated of the man. So this assertion is being made about that object with the verb to be and an adjective. So that's why it's called the predicate. It's also in the predicate part of the sentence. And then the last is the substantival usage. It is when an adjective stands alone as a noun. Like the movie The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like the scripture, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the meek. What's meek? Is that a noun?
adjective.
It's an adjective, right? Means gentle, basically, right? So, blessed are the meek. The meek what? The meek sheep? The meek rocks? The meek, how could he leave it without a clear noun? We have no idea what he means. Oh wait, we do know what he means because we do that in English. We sometimes, substitute the adjective.
Would the color purple qualify for that?
You mean
the color purple?
You mean that phrase,
Yeah.
the color purple? No. Color is going to be a noun, and then the color purple. Like, which word in there do you think is?
That's what I'm wondering. It's confusing one.
No, no. It's when you use.
Purple's describing the noun, I guess.
I think it's like a name.
That's.
It is a name, it's the name of a menu.
It's the color purple, the man, it's kind of like purple is an apposition to the word color. So it's restating the noun color in other terms with more specificity. But that's not a substantival adjective. It's when you just have the adjective no noun standing for a noun. I mean, we'll use that with, or the Bible uses that with the righteous, yada yada yada, right? That righteous, that is an adjective. It's not a noun, but it's referring to righteous people, right? Substantival adjective almost always is referring to a person or people who exhibit that quality. That's what it is. Now that we have reviewed that, how do we know which of those is happening in Greek? Now we said that for it to be substantival, what does it need to be in Greek? What sort of construction do you need to see for it to be substantival? There's one that's like loud and clear. Did you have a suggestion, Jimmy?
Same case.
Well, for substantival means that it's functioning as the noun. So, if the adjective is substantival, there is no noun there. There's no noun that it matches up with. So, then you start to realize, okay, there's no noun anywhere around that matches this bad boy in case, number, and gender. It's probably functioning substantively. Now, a substantival adjective in Greek will always have the article, okay? It will have the article, but the biggest clue is that there's no noun that matches up with it. So, that's a dead giveaway. Now, the other two are a little more complicated. So, let's say you're looking at the adjective and you see that there is a noun. And you see that that noun is the same case, number, and gender. That means that they go together. An adjective will match the noun it's modifying in case, number, and gender. Makes perfect sense. Now, when you see those two, you have to ask yourself, is this adjective articular? Does it have an article? That's all that means. Does it have an article? And if it does, then it's attributive. It's the black marker, not the marker is black. Keep thinking, I'm just going to switch to the black one so I don't confuse anybody. The black marker. The word black in Greek would be articular, has an article. The word marker can have an article or or it may not have an article, doesn't matter, because black has the article. That is the attributive position. The next one is the predicate position. And that is going to be identified by the adjective having no article. In case you care, that's called anarthrous. Anarthrous means it doesn't have an article. I've been trying not to say that word, but I did. Sorry. Because I know, like, until the grammatical terms like really get solidified, they can just kind of complicate things more so. In the predicate position, the adjective does not have an article, but the noun does. And when that happens, it's the marker is black. The word marker will have the article and black will not. And lastly, there's the situations in which neither one has an article, and then it's no holds barred. Anything goes. Not really, but it can be a black marker, or it could be a marker is black. You gotta feel it out, context. Cool. Well, I already wrote all that stuff the other day. We went through it pretty thoroughly, so we just did it quickly there. Let's do these four. Let's translate these bad boys. We'll take a break. Okay. This one, you shouldn't need any helps for because these are all vocab words within the first 9 chapters. So what does kakos mean?
Evil.
Bad. Evil. Bad. That's how you pronounce it in English. Ha-cosmos, what does that mean?
The world.
The world. So, we know all the words now, but how do you translate this?
It's a bad world.
We have a vote for the bad world. Do we have any other
The
options?
world
The
is
world
bad.
The world is bad.
World is evil.
Well, yeah,
But you
evil,
can't
bad
put-
doesn't matter. But, because we'll use either one.
The world is
world is bad.
Yeah, it's actually the predicate position, and the reason is because the noun has the article, the adjective does not. Therefore, the world is bad. The world is evil. That's how you would translate that. And number 2. I heard that.
Oh, well.
All right. Agape is he, she, or it loves. So, we have our verb. What should we look for next? In general, when you're translating.
Subject.
Subject.
Look for your subject, which should be what case?
No.
Nominative. Do you have one? Ha, theos. I know, I like put accent marks some places and not other places for no actual reason. I don't know what I'm doing here. So, ha, theos, it should be what? How should it function?
Subject.
Subject. So, can we translate that part?
God loves.
God loves, because it's he, she, or it. God is a he. Plug it in. God loves. Now we have tan agape tanautu. Yes, Patrick.
God loves his beloved.
This is correct.
Alright.
Can you explain the his beloved part to me? Why did you put beloved as the direct object?
Because his is genitive. The atu is genitive, so God is the subject, and then the ton agapatan
Yep.
is
agape tan.
accusative, so it's taking the love.
Yes,
Like
yes,
it's
it's accusative. It's
receiving the love.
receiving the verb. So God loves the beloved, but then we have autu, which is from autos, which means he, but it's genitive. So of him, but here it's possessive. We don't say, this is the pen of him, this is his pen, we usually say. So we switch autu to his, and then that kind of supplants the article in English. Because you wouldn't say, God loves the his beloved. No, the word his kind of lets you know that it's definite. This word is definite. You don't really need the article there in the translation.
Why did they put it then?
So, God loves his beloved. Beloved. What part of speech is that? It's from agapetas. What part of speech is that?
That's the
Substantive
substantive article thing.
Direct.
Attributed.
Well, direct object is more of like a function. It's not really a part. Like a noun
That's
can
what
be a
used to-
direct object, but a noun is a part of speech.
Substantive
I feel like someone must have said it. Everyone just say what you
That
said.
adjective, the funny one.
Yes, it's an adjective.
That funny one there. I can't pronounce the name.
Substantive?
Substantival.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a substantival adjective. How can we know that?
There's no noun.
There is no noun that matches up. There is a noun in this sentence, God. But agapetan does not match that. No, definitely not. So, yes, exactly. Agapetan, there's no noun that matches up with it. It's articular. It's got an article. And we're using it like a noun. That is a substantival usage of agapetas. Yay! Let's do this one, and then we'll do this one. I keep. That's what that means. Oh, it's tero, tain, agathane, and tolane. Sorry if you can't see it. So, we're translating a sentence. What should we look for first?
A verb.
Yes, do we have a verb?
Yes, it just showed us.
Yes, it is tero. It's I keep. Okay, what should we look for next? In general, a subject. So, what case do we look for? Nominative. Do you have a nominative in here? There is no nominative there. Therefore, the word I that's already embedded in that verb is going to be the subject. There's no explicit subject. Because remember, if I removed this, what would that sentence read?
He, she, it loves the beloved.
Yeah, it's still a complete sentence. He loves his beloved. She loves. Actually, that one, because then out too. So it could be like he loves his beloved or it loves its beloved. You know? But just know that the verb contains a subject. Sometimes the author makes it explicit, sometimes not. He doesn't have to. So, I keep, that's our subject and our verb. So next we should look for what? Bless you.
The noun?
Yup, and specifically what type of noun?
Direct object.
The direct object. So what case?
Accusative.
Accusative. Do we have an accusative here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what is the accusative noun? Entolane, right? Now, we also have tain agathane. What is agathane?
Shoot, look at my vocabularies.
Good.
Yes, it's from agathos, but it is the feminine form. It's feminine, well, excuse me, it's accusative, singular, feminine. Why?
Describing.
Because the
Singular and feminine.
Because,
Pentylane is accusative, feminine, singular.
exactly, because entolane is, and agathane is matching it. It will match the noun it's modifying in case, number, and gender. Now, look at what has the article in this sentence. And knowing what you know about adjectives, how should that translate?
Keep the good. Everyone is.
Yep, entele, does anyone know what entele means?
Commandment.
Commandment. Yep. So it is, it's I keep the good commandment. Okay? And the reason is because the adjective has an article. Because the adjective has an article, it's attributive. The good commandment. They're accusative, so they are the direct object. I keep the good commandment. All right, real quick, let's do this one. Ha anthropos, ha pistos, nekros. So, do we have a verb here? An explicit verb. We do not. Okay, so let's just look at what we do have. Ha anthropos, what's that mean? The man, yay. Ha pistos, ha pistos. What is that? What does that mean? What does pistos mean? I'm pretty sure.
It's faith.
Yes, you have learned this. You all know it. You have it memorized. You just didn't memorize it.
It's faith.
Faithful, yes. Pistis is faith. I don't think you've learned it yet, but pistos is faithful or believing. So, ha pistos. Does that match anything in case, number, and gender in this sentence?
Ha anthropos.
Yes. Ha anthropos is nominative singular masculine. Ha pistos is also nominative singular masculine. Now, knowing what you know about what part of speech is pistos?
Adjective.
It's an adjective. Now it's articular. It has an article. So how should those two nouns translate in relation to one another? The faithful man. The faithful man. What if I did this? Whoop. The faithful man. Same thing. The adjective has an article. It's attributive. The faithful man. Then we have nekros. Nekros is what part of speech?
Another adjective.
It is another adjective, yes. Now, it is actually, hold on, let me put that back. Whoops. For purposes of illustrating this next part, I don't know why I'm moving this, but I am. Okay. Anthropos, apistos, nekros. Nekros is an adjective. Does it match anything here in case, number, and gender? Yes, it matches anthropos, right? Nominative, singular, masculine. It does. What does nekros mean?
Dead.
Dead. If it's substantival, it can mean corpse. Now, it matches a noun in case, number, and gender. So do you think it's substantival? Do you think it's functioning as a noun on its own?
No.
No. It's matching up with a noun, so it's either attributive or predicate, right? So, we have the faithful man, but man has an article, and that adjective does not. What does that mean about the translation? It's predicate. You stick the word to be. So, someone.
Faithful man is dead.
The faithful man is dead. Right? This adjective is attributive because it has the article. This one does not, while this does. So this one is attributive, this one's predicate. That one, if you thought that one was tricky, I was trying to make it tricky. So,
How would it be if it was the dead man was faithful or is faithful?
the dead,
Doesn't make sense, I guess, if the dead man is faithful.
the dead man is faithful.
How could he be faithful? He's dead. Sorry, Steve.
He had good
That sounds
intentions.
corny.
He had good intentions. His last breath.
He was faithful.
That
but
that
now
would
he's
be the
dead.
dead man is faithful. Yeah.
No, that sounds corny. I'm not trying to pay
Okay.
attention. Sorry. What's funny?
We'll start workbook at 8. Take your break.
But then again, Steve, if he was saved, I guess